So, Lori George, did you ever want to get a tubal litigation?
Yes, I did when I was 22 after my third daughter. It was a difficult delivery. I lots of bleeding and lots of issues after regarding my uterus and the way that it healed. My daughter came out so fast that it tore my uterus and I bled and bled.
Mm.
And when I mentioned to my doctor just the stress of having a 4-year-old, 2-year-old, and a newborn, I said I've had enough children, and he would not tie my tubes. So then I became pregnant with my fourth daughter, and I said to him, I said, I've been on the pill, used other precautions, and I still got pregnant. And I was honest. I said, I blame you because you are refusing to give me a tubal, tubal, um, tie my tubes. So after I had my fourth daughter, he finally tied my tubes.
And how old
And
were you by that time?
I was 25.
Okay. Wow.
And I was thinking, this is my body. And I birth control obviously isn't working. It's not working for me. It's making me really sick. And um, condoms at the time were all latex, and I'm allergic to latex. So it was just not a win-win situation in any way. So they tied my tubes. They did a laparoscopic through my belly button because I just had the baby, so it meant that my uterus was still enlarged, and my ovary fallopian tubes were still up to the top, right, raised up. So they did a small incision and cauterized my tubes. So it didn't make much difference with my, well, it made my menstrual cycle a little heavier, but nothing too crazy. But I felt very relieved having it done.
And just to confirm, when they first rejected you, did they rejected you because of the age?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's wrong.
right. Well,
Yeah.
in Ontario, Canada, they said that a woman of age of 18 years old and up that understands what birth control form, what it can do, the pros and the cons, they should legally be allowed to be given that option when asked for. And that also goes into my next question. How did you ever find yourself wanting to reverse the tubal litigation?
Um, I never thought I would have done it, but I had met my son's father. We had dated, oh gosh, about a good 4 or 5 years. And we had talked about it. And I hummed and hawed about it for a good 6 months. And then I finally had it done. Had it done November of 1994. And I was fortunate because for the next fiscal year, starting January of 95, you had to pay back then $1,500.
Mm.
So I think now it's about 3, 4 grand now to have it done. But when I had it done, um, I I wasn't given the proper tutorial of what to expect. I just thought, oh, I'm just gonna get my tubes tied. It's a lot more in depth, and it's painful. And like me, I used to heavily work out all the time. I lift weights and everything. So when the doctor did my tubal revert, well, first off, he had to see if the fluid or whatever he had to insert in me would flow right and my tubes were clear. There was no um, fissures or polyps or so forth with it, or collapsed fallopian tubes. So everything turned out to the positive for that. So I qualified for that. And he wanted to get me in before Christmas to have it done. Very nice doctor. I had a procedure done in Guelph General.
Nice.
Yeah. So they did it, but when I finally came to it it was nothing like what I thought it was going to be. Um, I had 60 stitches from the inside out. So pretty much um, a woman having a C-section, but with more intense bruising because they were reconstructing the tubes. So the
Right.
tubes were reconstructed. So there was stitching in with the tubes, right?
Mm.
And then the stitching from the inside out through the muscle. And then there was 30 staples along my front. And then I was on a hemovac so they could pump out excess blood away. I wouldn't get a blood infection. And they pumped me full of gas. So I looked like I was about 7 months pregnant, but it was all gas.
Okay.
It took a good, I'll say a good 12 weeks to finally start healing. And then after you've done the healing, you go back to the doctor. They give you a solution to go through your tubes to make sure it's healed right. Oh my God, I thought I was going to faint. And all kinds of blood came out of me. See, they didn't give me the warnings or the precautions of anything about post-surgery except to take it easy. Hard to do when you got 4 kids,
Right. So you
right?
would say that it would be better if there was more information discussing about more about the pros and the cons when it comes to tubal litigation, about getting it and then the refers. So where do you
Yeah.
think that would help to get better information regarding that? Because women should have the right to know these pros and cons in birth control
Well,
conception.
this is the other thing, and that also comes to me the other topic about abortion, right? Because I'm obviously very anti-abortion. Um, 5 children later, but I mean, um, I the doctor that I had that prepared me to get um, my tubes cut after my 4th child, he was pretty communicative about it all. He was really good about it. But um, after having my reversal, like I traveled from, I was in they wanted me out of the hospital within 3 days. I said I couldn't. I had a bad bladder infection because I had a catheter in me.
Mm.
I was in it for just over a week. I could not honestly move. And my family doctor came to see me. My family doctor in Guelph at the time said, no, she's not ready in 3 days. There's no way. We got to give her a week. So, because the health system's like, quick beds, get everybody in, get everybody out. I don't understand how they can give a woman a total C-section and send her home in 2 days. I can't see how the poor woman is able to walk and function
Mm.
because this surgery is pretty similar to a C-section. The only difference is that your tubes aren't being rebuilt.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and you're not pumped with gas, but still, just the pain of it all, right? But I mean, like, it was hard, and it was, I had to go back to Guelph after 6 weeks and get um the staples removed. They wanted to make sure that the stitching had healed from the inside out. It was, I'll have to say, the total mass amount of healing it took was about a good 4 or 5 months, almost half a year. But
Wow.
they want you to try to get pregnant within 10 to 12 weeks.
Wow.
And yeah, and that's why a lot of women have tubal reversals, kept miscarrying because their body didn't get the chance to heal. So the doctor said to me, it was around it was around April. He says, if you're not going to get pregnant, if you can't get pregnant, we're going to have to give you fertility pills. And I'm thinking, oh gosh. And normally I would get pregnant so easy before any of this, right? I thought, great, I'm just going to have triplets. And about 3 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant with my son. I can only imagine fertility pills. I'd probably have 2 of them. I'd be like, right. But the nurses, like the doctor gives you the usual pamphlet,
Mhm.
but that's on the medical note. That's not on the how do I explain it? That's not on the rating of women who've gone through this and said, listen, this is my experience. It's just medical, right? Nothing by soul experience. And the nurses are like, okay, get in, get out, and so forth. So I can only imagine what it's like now to get this done. And then they send you home within a few days, right? It takes forever to heal. And I found having the reversal and carrying my son, um, it really weakened my muscles. It weakened my tummy muscles because there was no proper binding muscle to support him properly. This had been severed and cut. So it it's basically like trying to get the old style canteen bags. Has a tear, you tear, sew it up with a bit of water. It's not going to hold the pressure. The seal's going to go, right? It's flesh, it's skin. So they don't warn you about that either, which they need to warn you that if you have large babies or if you've had twins before and you've got your tubes reversed to have more children, just let you know that that incision there is still going to take up to a year to heal. So they're pushing for you to quickly get pregnant so your tubes don't close. And I get that. But yet you're in the process of carrying a baby. My son was almost 9 pounds. And then you're still waiting for those tubes to heal. And it hurts when you're carrying a child. It really does. You feel the stretching and the pulling. So yeah, that was quite the
It was
experience.
a serious surgery, it sounds. So
Oh,
yeah,
they
it's
use
big
clamps
surgery.
to hold your stomach open, like clamps to like keep it open. And the doctor has a special little goggles so he can see everything up close. So that surgery took 6 hours. So
Wow.
there was a ton of bruising after, like an immense bruising. If anybody ever said to me, and I love my son to pieces, but if anybody said to me, if you could go back in time, would you do it again? Hell no. Absolutely not. Nope. Wouldn't ever do it again. Ever
A-
do it again.
And how old were you when you got the reversal, if you don't mind me asking?
I was, I had that done in 94. I was 30.
Okay. Okay.
So I was on, and even the doctor said I was almost borderline, almost too old for it. He says, had I been 32, he wouldn't have done it.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because some women go into early menopause without them realizing it. Because at 36, I was getting hot flashes and everything like crazy. So I understand what they're saying. That 30, between 36 to 40 was the max of doing the surgery. So I understand.
Okay. Interesting. So you
Yeah.
definitely want to do it again. So when you say want to do it again, would you have considered to get your tubes tied from the time that you did, or you want to get the reversal done, or both? Like, and just not have done it at all.
I think I would have had the tubes tied and just left it at that. Just completely left it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That answers all my questions. Thank
Oh,
you.
no problem. It was fun. It was nice seeing you.